Well, welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is singer-songwriter Nathan Wade. Nathan, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me, Bubba. I appreciate it.
Well, man, it's a pleasure. We've already been talking a little bit off camera, and I said, no, we got to hit record already, man. For our listeners who don't know who you are, why don't you share a little bit about, who you are and your backstory, and we'll get into what you're up to now.
Well, that's probably most of your listeners. There's a running joke back in the day when we were playing with the band, and my ex-wife actually made these shirts that said "Who the F is Nathan Wade?" So that was pretty funny. But I'm just a guy who loves to write songs, and for a while there, I was writing songs to send to Nashville, try to get other people to record them, but I wanted to sing them myself. So I finally got a band together. We did really well, and they didn't want to sing more of the original music. So it's really tough out here in Nebraska. By the way, we got a game tonight here in Nebraska. It's actually down at Arrowhead, but go Big Red. So we got to get
Well,
the
I
bug in there.
live in southeastern South Dakota, so I'm friends with a lot of Husker fans.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I'm hoping for a good year, but music wise, man, I just love it and telling stories. For me, it used to be more about me, and this time around, it's just going to be more about the music and getting it out there and getting people to feel what I feel when I sing it.
And that's what it's all about. You shared a little bit of your story of working with guys that only wanted to play covers, and they're, kind of letting their fears permeate into the band about, well, if we're not a cover band, then maybe we're not making the money, and maybe people aren't coming out to see us for these reasons or that. But you're never going to make it in this business if you can't establish yourself as an artist, and you're never going to make any money unless you have your original music and you're continuing to push that side of it. And even if you have the greatest songs in the world, you're probably never going to crack Nashville unless you got $250,000 in your pocket.
Yeah, Nashville. I gave up on Nashville years ago. It's not really my scene. I'm still a little more traditional, and I did find a band here last year, and they were looking at having me on there, and then they listened to my music and said I sounded too traditional. I said thank you,
Yeah,
goodbye.
I appreciate that. Well, and in this day, and we talk about it a lot on the show, that this is the age of the independent artist, and the age of the big break and the record deal, and like if you want a record deal in this day, you are insane. Because now they're all 360 deals, right? They want some of everything that you do
Yep.
because nobody's paying for music specifically, right? So the only way to really do it and to feel good about it, for me and for guys like me and you, I think I could speak for both of us here, is to do it independently, to treat your band like a business from the get-go, to continue to build yourself as an artist and as an original artist first and foremost. That doesn't mean that you can't play covers, but you need to be the artist and not just a band that plays other people's music. I just think that there is less and less room for people like that because you have bands that are at the top. Some of these tribute acts are already out there doing it, and they're probably way better than you and your buddies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the thing out here in Nebraska. It's hard. Like I said, I put something out at least once a year, trying to look for band members, but nobody wants to take on an original project. And I'm like, man, I've sold thousands of CDs of my music and those kind of things. And I think I got some really good songs that touch people's lives. And man, if I had a band behind me, I think it'd be great. But I got to say, since I got back into this a few months ago, just me and my guitar and my songs, and I haven't had to play a single cover song. So
That's beautiful.
it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think I think the culture is shifting. And thankfully for us that I think there's a hunger for original music. I think there's a hunger for connection with artists. You don't need a million followers and a million fans anymore. The thousand true fans method I think is pretty well spoken at this point. If you've got 1,000 people out there in the world that love you and love your art and are willing to support that art, You can make a living in this. Now, we all have different lifestyles that we may be, trying to maintain. Someone who's 22 and single and, can sleep in their car on tour and do all those things is obviously in a lot better situation than someone who has, a wife and family at home, a house to maintain, and all those things. So, yes, there are limitations to it still, but there's plenty of money to be made, especially in the Midwest, in just performing.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been doing really well. I've got one bar I wanted to shout out here in Lincoln, which it really shocked me actually. I know some people from there. I've been to that bar, but it definitely does not have a country vibe whatsoever. And but one of the bartenders decided to talk to the owner and try to get me in there because they didn't have a lot of live music. And I've been asked back 3 times already. It's called One More Bar here in Lincoln, and just a little strip mall, just a little neighborhood bar, and just super cool to get in there. And we've got places like Tanks down in the rail yard here in Lincoln that they have a singer songwriter night I've been able to do, thanks to Todd and Drew over there. The
I'm taking
Doghouse
notes.
Bar,
Hold on, Nathan.
you're all right.
Well, I've been trying to crack that little scene down there, man. I mean, obviously, you have, Nebraska is down there, a huge market of young people. Um, and I think a lot of them, Midwestern kids, right, that grew up going to street dances and things like that.
Yeah,
And I think there is a hunger, especially in this Midwest and in that younger community, for live music. And unfortunately for them, a lot of their peers don't play instruments and don't do those things because the culture kind of shifted and went away from traditional music, not just in there, but the traditional way of making music as well.
yeah. Anything. Well, the AI thing is really kind of bothering me at this point, but that's a whole nother egg you're going to crack. But yeah, it's just being original for me. It's always been that way. And the reason I got back into this, I basically took a 10-year hiatus. My last studio album was 2015. And I listened to the voices that said you're not going to be able to do it without doing cover music. People aren't just going to listen to a guy with a guitar telling stories they've never heard. And I listened to that. And then my grandson came around, and he got dropped off on our doorstep. And 2 years later, we adopted him, and so he's about 8.5 now, and he's a level 2 brown belt in Taekwondo. He's also just started competitive gymnastics, and the kid is just unreal. But when he got dropped off right before his second birthday, he knew maybe 2 words, and we were able to adopt him, and I kind of got out of it and used that as a crutch and as an excuse that I had to raise him. So, the music didn't matter. I had to do this. And this past year, man, I had this job that was just dragging me down. And I looked at him and I thought, I'm pushing him to do his best and chase things and work hard. And I said, but I'm not doing that. I said, I have music and I gave it up. And why? So I quit that job and I started booking shows again. And I was able to, when we first got him, I had a show booked right after that. And we're like, we'll just bring him with us. And he's 2 years old, sitting on a tailgate, listening to me sing. And he hasn't seen me sing live since. And just this year, I booked a show out at Country Drive. That's another good one in Ashland. It's right off a golf course.
I got some friends in Ashland.
Yeah, they had this. It's a beautiful venue, man. It's right on the golf course, but they got this huge building, this great stage. And I was honored to go out there and actually open for one of the #1 Johnny Cash tribute bands. So that was super cool. But after I decided to do the music, I finally came up with the song that told the story about how we got Jax. And I was able to get him on stage and sing it. And it was just quite a moment for me and for him, and just kind of full circle. And man, it was awesome. So I'm really doing a lot of this for his benefit. Now, the money's going to have to keep coming in, or else, you know, I got my transmission going out in my car, and all that stuff that traveling musicians have, and split time. I've got we've got split custody, so it's it's kind of a grind, and I have them every other weekend. So trying to book shows and stuff like that has been, it's tough, but this is what I want to do. And there's no place I feel better than that 3 square feet on a stage to be able to sing my songs. That's, that's just what it's about for me. And I want him to see that. So
That's beautiful, man. Shout out to Jax. He sounds like an impressive young man.
he is.
That's our future, right? And exactly what you have done and taken upon yourself is that if we don't live it as example to these young people, and you can talk about it and they find it on the internet, oh, chase your dreams, and you can be anything you want and you can do these. But when you look to your elders and you see them not doing that, it kills the belief in that, right? And similar story, Nathan. I was working in a factory, 18 months ago, welding, hating my life. It wasn't who I was put here to be. I had pretty much, abandoned music totally. I was playing on some weekends and things like that, but it just wasn't it. I've been very grateful to not just have music, but now podcasting as well. But that's because I cannonballed into this. And in 18 months, we've built ourselves up to being an award-winning podcast network. We're able to empower other creatives and to bring them onto our network, other creatives like yourself that are being guests, that are raising the platform that they have built and doing this all together. So I'm very grateful, but it would have never happened if I kept giving someone else 50 hours a week of my time.
Right.
And does it take adjustments of lifestyle? Does it take sacrifices? Yes, of course. But what was I sacrificing to go to that job every single day?
All your time, man, your time and your soul.
Right.
I mean,
Pieces of what's inside of you are
it's not who
dying.
you are. It's, when it's just, you know, I know you feel it too, but when you're talking about your music and what you create, it's a whole different thing, man. You can't, people, people outside of it, it's hard for them to feel. I mean, I got stuff going all over my head all the time, but when you can condense it and put it in a 3 minute song that tells the story of someone's whole life, and I mean, that's magic, man. It's awesome.
Truly is. Truly is. Nathan, love the backstory, man. Can't wait to meet you and down there. What are you working on now? You got another album that's coming out soon or one you just released?
Well, like I said, I've been out of the game for 10 years. I don't think anybody even buys CDs anymore. I'd sure love to put one of those out, but I mean, I've got so much music that's not recorded. I think some of my best songs are not on an album anywhere, but I do have, you can go to iTunes or any of that stuff. There's 3 albums, I think, on there. But yeah, right now I'm just trying to build the network back up to where I can consistently get shows, get out, sing my music. I'm writing again, which is awesome. Been writing some new songs. One of my favorites right now is God and Gasoline. That's a pretty cool song, a little revved up. Get God in there anytime I can. So, um, yeah, if I can get this thing built up, I'd love to put some more music out. Um, Selling T-shirts again. My 10-year anniversary of the What I Love and What I Do album. So I put that T-shirt out again. We're doing that. So just anything I can do to get the music out there. And like I said, my first album was called My Own Name, and it was also my first tattoo. Got a lot of those since, but now it's more about just getting my songs out there. It's not even really about me. It's about other people um, appreciating it, like I do.
Amazing, man. Well, I know you got a sleepy Frenchie at your feet. I can hear him
Can you hear them?
snoozing. Oh yeah. That puts a big smile on my face, man. I'm
Oh yeah.
such a big dog person. I like cats too, but a squishy faced dog will always have my heart. Nathan Wade, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you online once for me? And yeah, I'll let you get out of here.
Sure. Basically, I'm just rolling off Facebook right now. So it's just Nathan Wade Country. You can look me up, give that a like, be my friend. Again, you can find my music at Nathan Wade Country on YouTube, iTunes, CD Baby, all that stuff. I've heard Spotify's kind of going out the window. So I actually pulled up a couple of my songs on Spotify the other day and it was playing the wrong song. I have a lot of my friends who are independent artists who were posting a lot about how they took their albums down out of nowhere because they're saying that they thought it might have been AI generated. and these are like real deal artists, you
Oh,
know.
oh, like the pop music that we're hearing on the
It,
radio.
the
Yeah.
yeah, it's just terrible. I
Yeah.
can't
Hey,
I can't
brother.
listen to the radio
Hey,
much,
you
man.
know what? You're on it, man. You are on it. You're doing the right thing. I will tell you right now, people do buy CDs, but it's just different. They're not buying it to consume it. They're buying it because they know that supports an artist. I'm gonna put. I've been working on an album myself of songs that haven't seen the light of day in a decade or more, and I'm thinking about just taking it straight to vinyl, like some of my friends back here behind me have, and
That is the new thing, man. We're back to records.
well, it's visceral, right? And I think it matters, and I think people understand it. I think they realize that the sound quality is way better. I think we're all sick and tired of renting
Just
music from
generated,
Spotify.
yeah,
Um,
generated crap, you know. It's I don't know. For me, like, yeah, I'll sit in a bar. I'm not a guitarist. I say I'm a singer, songwriter, guitar-ish. You know, if I can get enough of the chords together just the right way to play my music, you know, it's like Harlan Howard. It's, you know, three chords and the truth. That's it.
well, Nathan Wade, thanks so much for sharing your story with us today, and thanks for being part of the scene.
Absolutely, Bubba. I appreciate it, man.